Well, with 60 days until the election, Democratic nominee Joe Biden is set to give a speech later today on the economy from his hometown of Wilmington, Delaware. It's one day after he traveled to Kenosha, Wisconsin, and met with the family of police shooting victim Jacob Blake. Meantime, President Trump rallying his base in the battleground state of Pennsylvania last night. A new Quinnipiac poll shows him trailing by 8 points there. The president hammering his opponent over his response to surging violence.
For the entire summer, Biden was silent as far-left rioters viciously attacked law enforcement in Democrat-run cities hall, burned down businesses, terrorized civilians, and just recently marched through the streets chanting, "Death to America." This is what we have, death to America. And by the way, we could end it like immediately. You saw what we did in Wisconsin. Biden went there today. There was nobody there. There was nobody there. He was a little late.
Let's get to our chief White House correspondent, John Roberts, who's live for us on the North Lawn. John, it was kind of an enthusiastic crowd last night.
Very enthusiastic crowd because the president was solidly on friendly territory. He was in Latrobe, Pennsylvania, which is the birthplace, by the way, of Arnold Palmer, Westmoreland County, which the president won by 31 points. Back in 2016, you heard him mention Boilermakers in that sound clip. Last night, he accepted the endorsement of a Boilermakers union from the city of Pittsburgh, just a little bit to the west of Latrobe, and continued to go on to hit Joe Biden on the issue of law and order. Listen here.
Biden's plan is to appease the domestic terrorists, and my plan is to arrest them and prosecute them. We could end it in Portland in a half an hour. And now what we're doing is we're holding back funds for cities that don't know what they're doing, where they allow crime to run rampant.
The president is also doubling down again last night on his call for people who sent mail-in ballots to go to the polls on Election Day to make sure that their vote was tabulated or cast a provisional ballot in case the mail-in ballot does not get counted. The White House is insisting that the president is not encouraging people to vote twice, just to make sure that their vote has been counted. And Trace, when we hear these warnings about the potential for some mail-in ballots not to make it in time to be counted, the president is just warning his voters that he wants to make sure that they get theirs counted.
Yeah, and separately, John, the president responding to this report that he disparaged military heroes. What do we know?
Yeah, the president was very hot about this as he returned to Joint Base Andrews last night. It's a story in the Atlantic magazine that claims that back in November of 2018, when the president did not visit the Aisne-Marne Cemetery east of Paris, it was because he didn't want to go out there because the people who were buried in that cemetery and the Marines who died in the Battle of Belleau Wood were, quote, losers and suckers. Listen to what the president said last night.
And to think that I would make statements negative to our military and our fallen heroes when nobody's done what I've done with the budgets, with the military budgets, with getting pay raises for our military. It is a disgraceful situation by a magazine, and I would be willing to swear on anything that I never said that about our fallen heroes. There is nobody that respects them more.
I was on that trip, and the president did have to cancel the trip out to the Aisne-Marne Cemetery because of weather. The ceilings were too low for Marine One to fly. And according to the Secret Service, who I contacted about it in order to get the president out there by motorcade, they would have had to have closed a lot of roads in Paris and on the way out to Belleau Wood and the Aisne-Marne Cemetery for hours, which they thought would be too much of an inconvenience for the French people. I've been talking to some other administration officials who were with the president on that day. They insist, Trace, that the story is, quote, BS.
Yeah, it's good context. John Roberts live for us at the White House. John, thank you.